makes a person of interest. Coach Micheal Burt cuts to the chase, interviewing some of the biggest names in the world. How do they think? What makes them tick? What are their thought processes? And how they became a person of interest.
Hey there, good afternoon. I'm Coach Micheal Burt, the Super Coach, and every single month I like to bring you people of interest that are out there doing big things in the world. This is based on a book that I wrote many years ago called Person of Interest, and it has become so popular because at the end of the day, when you become known, renowned, celebrated, you are no longer chasing business. Business is chasing you. And you are roaming about the world like Ed is today. He's in California, right?
Hello, yes.
So Ed, welcome. I am down. I have a 9-bedroom house in Seaside, Florida, and I do retreats at this house. And so my wife and I came down for a few days to spend some time here, and it's been good. I've been doing my podcast from here. I've been making sales calls. I've been closing deals.
Love it.
and man, I'm excited about you because you are really moving and shaking. And how old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 25.
Okay, 25 years old. You're building a personal brand. You got a nice Instagram following. You're got your own tour that's going on. And I mean, you're out there doing it, right? So what I want to do is just ask you some key questions. Like how long have you been in real estate, number one? I mean, 25 years old. When did you get started, man? I feel like I'm 17, 18 years older than you.
I was 22 when I started. So I'm in it for 3 years now. Yeah. No, not too long.
Did you have a great mentor? Did you have somebody that poured into you? Did you have a person that said, Ed, you need to do this? Did you? Because Ed is a big RE/MAX agent with RE/MAX Platinum, right?
Yes, sir.
In New Jersey. And, how did these revelations that you're having about, I got to build a personal brand, I got to become a person of interest. Tell me a little bit about that.
I did have a mentor, and that is one of the biggest pieces of advice that I was told. When I got on Instagram in 2012, one of the first things that I saw were these quotes, right? These motivational quotes on Instagram. That's what pumped me up. And one of those things that find a mentor, the 5 people that you surround yourself around, you become, right? And all these little corny quotes, but they work, and they put me in my place. And they said, you know what? I got to find the people that I want to be around, that I want to learn from, because again, if you're the smartest man in the room, you're in the wrong room. I can throw corny quotes at you all day, but these are the quotes that put me in my place. And so I found mentors, but I found mentors that I can bring value to right off the bat, because I know they are either going to require, number one, monetary value, which I didn't have, or some other type of value, which I could potentially provide. And that value was social media, personal branding, my creative eye, kind of putting things into play. What kind of logo do you need? What kind of sound do you need to your sound? Like all these little things. And I provided whatever I can for free. So I worked with Jonas Brothers. I worked with Gerard Adams, and some other bigger social media influencers, celebrities. And I provided whatever value I could. And after I did, those were really my mentors. They taught me. I provided them value. They gave me value back. But now when I got into real estate, I had to find a new mentor, right? So I interviewed with a few different agencies. Everyone was always hitting me, oh, we can give you this percentage and that percentage, and you can get this split. But no one said what kind of value I can bring you at the end of the day. And so I came to RE/MAX Platinum, and he said, I want you to teach me Instagram because I see what you're doing. Teach me. This is my broker. I said, okay, I will teach you. I taught him. After 4 hours, I think, he said, I would like you to offer you a job here, like become a realtor at my place. And I said, I can, but what can you provide? And the one thing that I always ask is, if you believe in what I believe in, we can work together. You have to believe in it as much as I do. And money is not the only thing I believe in. I have a whole different goal. So he is my big mentor nowadays, my broker, helping me out with the real estate side of things and so much more. But to answer your question, mentorship is key.
Well, you really get a concept here. And the concept is because you understand that you create value for another person. You're not a taker. You understand the total value of relationship. You brought something to these mentors, where in most situations, people want to be mentored, but they don't want to bring anything to the equation. They want to take.
That's right.
They want to take, like, hey, I want to be mentored by you, but I don't want to give you anything. I just want to take something from you. So I applaud you for getting that early in life, because if I wrote a book, Ed, I've written 14 or 15 books. If I wrote a book today for the 20 to 30-year-old, it would be called Go for the Mentor Over the Money.
I
That's
love
good.
that. I love that. Can I be a co-author?
Yeah, I mean that because you get it. There's and I actually believe that you get paid in multiple ways, not just in money. You get paid in referrals, you get paid in recognition, you get paid in affirmation, you get paid in love. So I'm glad that you're a young guy, but you understand that. Now let's talk about your steps to becoming known, okay? Because I think you and I are in agreement, and the agreement is the real estate agents who are the most known most likely get the most opportunity, right? Would you say that's true?
Yes,
So would you say that marketing and promotion or branding are senior to selling, like becoming known?
absolutely.
Okay, so
Totally.
so you and I believe the exact same things. Let's talk a little bit about your strategy to become known. If you were out there telling people, and you're on tour right now, you're sharing these strategies with people. You've created a tour, which is what people of interest do. It's why I love this guy. And so let's talk about how did you start becoming famous, man? Tell us
Awesome.
the tricks.
Yeah, absolutely. So logically, it always came to me logically. I was a hockey player for 18 years. I always played hockey. It's my life. And I grew a personal brand within that field without me even knowing. I was always the tall European that always scored goals. That was my little brand, right? And that was my trademark. But then one day I got injured. My shoulder just gave out, my ligaments tore, and all of a sudden my spotlight dimmed, my brand went away. I was no longer the 6'5" guy on ice that was scoring. I was the guy that was kind of on the couch now resting. I don't want that. I didn't want it. So I knew how to get a brand. I needed to do something big and disruptive to
Mhm.
make people say, okay, that's a guy that we have to keep an eye out for. So I took the same concept and I just applied it to something that I love to do. And so I got into real estate and I said, okay, how can I become so disruptive and so just obnoxious that people just they have no other option but to look that way and
Mm.
okay, what is he doing? And so I said one of the best ways to do that is if I first of all am loud with my content, number
Okay.
one. Number two, provide value that people want to keep coming back for more of it.
Yes.
So if I know that my ideal audience is a realtor, I need to tailor my content to a realtor's needs and wants. Like if they want to see tips and tricks on how to grow on social media, I will give them exactly that. And then they're going to come back for more and more and more and more because they know I keep giving more and more and more and more.
Mhm.
And so, of course, slowly but surely, they're going to bring their friends Sally and John and Jacob and Jingleheimer Smith and whoever else.
Uh-huh.
And all of a sudden, I have this big following that people are following the brand, right? At Stulak. I honestly, it's a very simple formula, but it starts with providing value.
That's right. That's right. And we, one of our beliefs is we believe having something to say is just as valuable as having somebody to say it to, right? Like,
Yeah.
so let's talk about Instagram because that's where a lot of people go. That's where you built a nice following.
Cool.
And if a person was out there watching this and they said, "Look, I get it. I need to become a POI. I need to raise my status. I need to elevate my brand. I need to become known. I need to create a differential advantage. I need to separate myself from the thousands of people out there because in real estate, you know how many thousands of people are out there. Okay, what does a person need to do? Because it appears to me that a lot of people don't know how to use Instagram. I don't know if there's a correct way or incorrect way. I know people have coached me in how to use it or tell stories or
Right.
but what's the formula you think a person needs to be using?
Engagement. So many people neglect engagement, right? So they get a comment on their video or picture that they post and they don't respond. I'm not sure why they don't do it. That one comment can turn into so much. The first thing that it can turn into is a communicative conversation.
That's right.
Talk to them, whether it's a thumbs up or emoji, or if it's someone saying, wow, beautiful background or house that you're selling, whatever it is, no problem. Engage with it because number one, that's a conversation starter. Boom,
Yeah.
right there. Number two is when you engage and comment on that comment, now it's two comments. And make sure that you ask a question when you comment back, right? So
Okay.
first comment says, for example, wow, beautiful house. I live not too far from there. Great, thanks so much. Where are you from? Are you originally from this place? Like, make them converse. And then when
Nice.
you ask the question, they comment back. That's three comments. Then you comment again. That's 4, 5, 6. So building up the conversation now also helps the algorithm. And the algorithm on Instagram, when they see more comments, they give you more exposure. The more
Yes.
exposure, the more potential leads, so that's just kind of how I'm thinking about it. Even if I get a scammer, someone saying, oh, I know how to make $10,000 in a month, let me teach you about Forex trading or something.
Yeah.
I will respond to it. Thanks so much. Have you heard of real estate? Did you ever
Right.
get into real estate, or invest that $10,000 that you have a month? Just start a conversation. But that's one thing that so many people neglect. And so I definitely say engagement, message people, message them, just say, hi, my name is John. This is what I do. Any value I can bring your way today? Do you know any colleagues of your friends, family? How can I bring you value today without asking for something in return, right? Just
you're saying something that's triggering something in me, because
cool.
in the book Person of Interest, there's 7 ingredients of people of interest: knowledge, skill, desire, confidence, likability. You have a very high likability, which I think really helps you. You smile a lot, you look good, you got the likability thing going. But also, one of the characteristics of people of interest is connectivity. And I think connection, what I'm hearing you say is that all the opportunity that you're looking for in the world is in and through your connections to other people. We're not trying to sell another person something. We're trying to connect with them. Right. And the connection opens the door. I've been coached by Hank Norman and Steve Carlos of Two Market Media out of New York City. They coach me and Grant Cardone and Tim Story and, a lot of big time people, Steve Harvey. and Hank Norman said something. I did an event with Hank Norman at my lodge in Tennessee. And he said, being famous in the old days was you were up on a pedestal and everybody looked up to you, right? Because you were up on a platform. Being famous, you can be famous today based on the number of people that feel connected to you. Being famous is about being connected. It's about how many people's connected to Ed, how many people know Ed, how many people is he touching every single day, how many people have an affinity with him.
That's right. And the one thing I want to say about that is when I speak on stage, I tell people, listen, who has heard of the quote, content is king, right? So many people have heard that. It's very repetitive. Content is king, absolutely. But community is emperor. And if you don't have a strong community behind you, it doesn't matter what kind of content you post, because you want a community that is advocates of your supporters. They will follow you wherever you tell them. If you tell them to go to MySpace right now, they will probably go and follow you on MySpace. It's the community, right? Same thing with Kylie Jenner and Tom Cruise or whoever these big celebrities are nowadays. If they say something, their followers will follow because they love them that much, right? So you have to build that connection. It absolutely comes down to that.
Well, that was so good, man. It's so good. It was so good. I had to take a note on my iPad.
Yes, good.
Hey, my buddy, I go to breakfast with my real estate agent every Saturday morning. He's one of my best friends, and he's helped me buy and sell millions of dollars of real estate. And he always says when he has an idea, he's like, "Is that one good enough to make it to your notebook?" Right?
Oh,
is that one good enough to make it to your notebook? Yeah, because if it ain't good enough, so content is king, community is emperor. And man, that was so good. That was so good.
I love it.
So when you think about this concept of let's talk to real estate people for a second.
Cool.
We coach a lot of real estate agents. I told you I had a 35 city tour with Remax 2 years ago where I went all over the country. You saw me at one of those events in New Jersey.
Yes.
I try to practice everything I tell people. Like I'm telling you, knowledge, skill, desire, likability, connectivity. Like I try to portray that. But if you were talking to a real estate agent about here's how you build your personal brand, because in my opinion, you're building a course that drives up your POI score. You're out on tour, it drives up your POI score. Your own social drives up your POI score. What would you tell the real estate agent out there who really does want to get it? Now, there's a bunch that are not open. They're not going to invest any money in themselves. They're not going to go do what they got to do to win and produce at a higher frequency. But there is a percentage of those agents who say, look, man, this young kid's doing it. What would you tell them to do to raise their person of interest score? What are all the things they need to be doing?
Cool. So I talk about the 3 Ps. And the first P is publications, right? So publications is being published. If you're a realtor, you don't have time to go on tour. You're obviously selling houses, right? You're doing your thing at home in your home base. No worries. But there is still a way to conquer that territory. And one of them is publications. Be published in an article or maybe a newspaper or magazine or maybe a podcast similar to this, right? Publications. Another one is press. Same thing. It's either you are being published, you are being interviewed, Or maybe you have your own book like you wrote. Maybe you have a book, maybe you have a news article that you personally wrote. And that was one of those things as well. And the last one was public speaking. So maybe you can be a public speaker somewhere at a conference or maybe an event to show you, again, like we were talking a few minutes ago, you said the pedestal, right?
Yes.
Okay, so take that into a physical manner. Maybe, yes, have a crowd in front of you and just speak to them. For example, a home buyer seminar, right? Show them, do a seminar of your own where you can go ahead, get a room filled of people that are either interested in real estate or looking into it or whatever it might be, and be that person that they look up to and listen to. So all eyes are on you, right? So boom, public speaking, publications, and press. I always talk about those three, and those are things that you can conquer in your own territory.
Yeah.
So that's one advice, you know.
Well, I think it's good advice because I think most agents think it's just about phone calls and knocking on doors. And, you know, there's an element missing in a lot of the coaching programs out there that is just work harder, knock on more doors, cold call more people. They're missing the point about, hey, dude, become known for something. Like for those people watching this, I'm trying to become known as the #1 activator of prey drive in the world, which means the #1 guy who can activate a drive in a person to find another gear. You know, so I picked a space. Taking me a long time to pick a space, but I picked a space and I said, this is what I can be the best in the world at. Okay.
That's right.
And known for what, so then they flip that into how do we brand ourselves on social? What does our website look like? How is how's the vernaculars of what we're talking about look like? So for you, you've picked a lane. I'm going to be known for this. Does the Instagram following lead to more deals or more deal flow, or is it just a play to become known?
It's all of the above, to be honest. You know, actually I think 70%, more than 70% of my deals from this year, 2019, have come from Instagram. Just solely people reaching out and just saying, hey, Ed, I see what you're doing. I have a house that I need to sell, and I'm also looking to buy. You know, I have a few clients that I'm currently working with, and that's what I focused on this year is in 2019, if I know what my strengths are, I got to make them stronger. If I know what I'm weak at and I suck at, I'm going to delegate that. So if I suck at new leads that are coming in, some random guy saying, oh, I'm an investor, I'm looking to buy a house for $200,000, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and give you to another person, no problem. But if I get someone on Instagram and they reach out to me, Ed, I see what you're doing. I love what you're doing. You do it in such a fun and unique way. You know what? Here's my house to sell. And please, I want to also buy. Can you help me? I know I'm going to work the hell out of that lead because they came to me, like you said in the beginning, right? The very, very beginning. You want business to chase you, not the opposite. And that's what I'm all about in 2019. And I'm going to take it from here on out until the rest of my business years, right? I want to make sure business chases me. And if I know they're coming to me, I'm not going to compete with another realtor because I know the value and the unique selling proposition that I have to offer to my clients versus the next guy. Doesn't matter if you're selling millions of dollars a year versus me. They obviously see something in me that they just trust. They have a connection with me versus the next guy. So they come to me and I want to work with those people. So to answer your question, a lot of Instagram leads come my way, but I also do it for the recognition. If someone sees, oh, wow, he has 40,000 plus followers, he must be some guy. This is just another thing, right? People perceive what they perceive.
Right. Sure.
If they see a K in that following, all of a sudden, oh, this guy's famous. This guy knows what he's doing. It's not always like that. But if that's what the public wants to see, then by all means, I will give it to you. So again, talking about credibility, right?
At the end of the day, it's all perception, right?
Yes.
Like optics. It's perception and optics. It's movement. It's circulation. Like me being down here to my 9-bedroom house in Seaside. Like you can't be a bozo and have a 9-bedroom house in Florida. Okay. You have to know how to do something. Okay. You can't have a jet and be a bozo. You can't like you had to figure out how to do something. So it's what I tell people is part of being a person of interest, and you're doing it so well at 25. I wish I knew these things at 25, Ed, because I'm so proud of you for learning early. It took me, I was in my 30s before I really figured a lot of this out. So you're doing it, and you're doing it at a big level. And man, I'm just, your energy is high. You got a great humility about you, which I really like, man. I think that's one of your endearing traits. You don't have an ounce of arrogance about you. You have a good humility about you. So let's finish this up with just a few questions.
Okay.
When you think, I'm going to give you some characteristics of a person of interest, and I want you to tell me what you believe is maybe the number one ingredient. Okay. If you say, hey, there's one thing they got to have. All right. So here's the ingredients of people of interest, straight from my book, Person of Interest. Okay. You can get it at my website, coachburt.com. Here's the ingredients of people of interest. Specific knowledge. They're never generalist. They're always specialist. Okay. So one is specific knowledge. Two is impeccable skills. They're great at something, negotiating, communicating, marketing. Number three, incredible desire. They're willing to do things other people ain't willing to do. Number four, contagious confidence. They have a contagious confidence about them. Okay. Number five. Okay. I don't want to confuse you because there's a bunch of them. Number five. Yes.
I got one.
Number five, likability. Number six, connectivity. Number seven, deep networks. Out of those 7 characteristics of a POI, which one do you believe is the number one?
Number 3, undesirable or desirable.
Yeah.
Yes. If you have a strong desire, you will make it happen regardless of what your skill set or your level of knowledge is. You will make it happen because the desire is there. If the desire is there, you will reach limits that even the skill set of Michael Jordan won't reach. You have to have that desire and that burning passion in you. And that's why I'm where I am. That's why where so many people are where they are, because they want to do what they do. It's desire.
Well, and do you think that, the hard question, maybe we end on this one because this is a good one. Do you think that's nature or nurture? Were you born with that? Did you acquire it somewhere? Did you learn it from somebody? Is it a combination? Like you tell me, a lot of people ask me this question. Some people, it appears they have something in them that you cannot put in them. You can't take it out of them. It is. What do you think?
Nurture. I think it's nurture.
Nice.
I strongly believe it is nurture because I know I didn't, wake up one day. I didn't pop out of the womb ready to conquer the real estate industry. No, it slowly kind of rumbled into that. And that was from a bunch of mistakes, a bunch of stepping stones, realizing what I don't want to do, realizing what I do want to do. And, I went from hockey to music. I was a DJ. I was a producer. I was a tour manager. I was a manager. I was a social media content creator. I can go on with these titles, but all these little titles made me realize what I don't want to do. I don't want to do that type of work. I suck at accounting. I don't like doing this. I don't like that. I don't. Yes. And all of a sudden it kind of funneled me into, I know what I do like to do, and I don't mind doing it every day. Let me see how strong I can make that one strength. Right? That's one of my goals. Like focus on your strength and make it stronger.
All right, so let me ask you this. This is a final question. And thank you for joining me today on Person of Interest, man. You're cool.
Absolutely.
You're a cool dude. You and I need to do something in the future together, okay? You mentioned you work with artists. Some of the artists are very talented, and they become famous because of their talent. Some of them become famous, and they're only moderately talented, but they know how to become famous. They know how to market. When you were working with artists, is there an element that you learned by working with artists that has helped you in your real estate career? Because I live outside of Nashville, Tennessee, and we have people that come to Nashville to become famous, right? Like they're singers and songwriters, and some of them can sing really good, and some of them are just great marketers. I mean, they're just great at positioning and promoting and hooking people. What's your personal thoughts? What did you learn by working with artists that you're using in your real estate career?
Over-analysis causes paralysis.
Okay. All right. Speak to that.
If you dwell on something for hours and hours and days and weeks, and you're just looking for perfection, it's never going to happen. You just have to throw it out there and see if it eventually stick. And eventually you'll modify it. Eventually it will evolve. Eventually it will become better and better and better and better. And that's what so many artists and so many people are afraid to do. They're afraid to go door knock because, I'm afraid of rejection. They're afraid to go ahead and release that song because, I don't like the bass on that. It doesn't sound right. No, just do it. There's always room for improvement. Always. Whether you know what, I'll cold call someone sometimes. Hey, my name is Ed, calling about your for sale by owner. Are you interested? Or wait, hold on. No, I screwed up. You know what? Never mind. Don't call me by. Like, I'll have fun with it, right? I'll screw up, but I'll own it. So own your mistakes, own those stepping stones that you're going throughout your career, and just understand that it will modify, it will evolve, but you have to start somewhere. You can't just try to make it perfect. It's never going to be perfect.
I love it, man. Well, listen, you're doing big things in the world. I want to thank you for joining me on an episode of Person of Interest. We believe in my company that people of interest move the world forward. We believe that people of interest are living fascinating lives. They're doing fascinating things. They're hanging around fascinating people. They're typically making fascinating money. And They're at the top of their game. These are the people you should be studying, guys. When you're studying, if you're going to study individuals, study people, no matter how old they are. Okay, I'm 43 years old, still a young pup, but I could learn something from this young pup. Like what he told me today. He got me thinking about my community. How do I stay more engaged with my community? How do I touch every single person? So huge takeaways today. Ed, I want to thank you for joining me on Person of Interest. I'm proud of you, big guy. And I look forward to watching your success. And please stay in touch with me, because I do want to be involved with you in some way in the future. And who knows, you and I may be back at that big Palace Theater in New Jersey, going back to back. Come on.
I am honored. Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity, and definitely we have work to do. I'm excited.
All right, we'll follow up with you guys. That's Ed Stulak. Thank you, big guy. One of the top real estate people in the country, and you got to watch this guy. You got to follow him on Instagram. He's doing it right. I'm so proud of him, and incredible energy. If I didn't like my real estate agent so much, Ed, you would be my number one guy, man.
No, that means a lot.
All right, have a great day, big guy. Thank you so much.
You too.
All right, bud.